Hey guys, and welcome to a Marvel video. Today I'm going to be doing my top 10 heroes in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Like, all of them, even the DLC heroes, everything, all of the heroes. I'm ranked them from 1 to 10, well, the top 10 at least. Of my opinion, these are heroes that I've played that I kind of put in this like tier. So there might be heroes in the game that might be really good and I just haven't like found them the right way or played them the right way. So forgive me if there's a hero out there that you completely love and it's not in this list. This is from my experience of playing the game. So in number 10, we have Black Panther, as you can see on screen. Now, Black Panther's on this list because he's extremely fast. He can run around the map really quickly with his auto attacks. He just flies across the thing. He can be buffed by elements, which is pretty great. But his real kicker is that he has Vibranium Slash. Now, Vibranium Slash is his bottom-most ability, and when you use this on bosses that have a heavy stagger bar, he will delete that stagger bar. Like, it's hard to show it here because these kind of enemies are a bit too weak for him. Like, it's weird that he performs better on, like, enemies or bosses that are stronger than him, because this is kind of, like, hard to play him. Especially because Vibranium Slash is a very difficult ability to aim. That's why he's on this, like, lower end of this kind of tier. So, he's just really good at deleting stagger bars, like, for really hard bosses. And that's why I liked him here. In ninth place, I've placed Magneto because I mean he's actually really strong. Like, people forget that he was one of the first heroes that everybody wanted in the game because of his heavy attack. His heavy attack hits hard, dude. It's immensely hard. I've actually got him with the 300% ISO 8 still here. So kind of keep that in mind that he's doing a little bit more damage than he normally does. But, any hero can be boosted up immensely, and his heavy attack is just great, especially once you unlock him for, like, your first playthrough. He is one of the heroes that will help you get through your first rush rifts without major problems if your heroes are still too low level to, like, handle fights like this. Because he can literally just stand in a corner and throw heavy attacks out there. You just basically hold the block button and throw heavy attacks. If you also synergize his leftmost ability, this explosion, he does massive damage with that explosion. His ultimate attack is also really good, or his extreme attack, however you want to refer to it, is great because he actually, when he does that, it also pulls in enemies towards him, and he kind of does this like swirling damage and explosion at the end, which is pretty great. He's one of his ultimate extreme attack is actually really good. It's one of the cooler ones in the game, especially if you want to clear large waves of enemies without Star-Lord. Okay. In eighth place, I've put Wasp here. Now, Wasp usually goes with like Miss Marvel or some other hero who can spin, but a lot of people forget that Wasp has a lot of capabilities just on her own. She has some serious strength hiding inside of her that if you don't know what I'm talking about, she is a murderer, dude. If you throw out that tornado of hers and shoot at it, she will destroy. She, however, does really badly in like too many like mobs or too many enemies getting in her way and just smacking her around, because she needs to be able to cast a tornado and shoot directly at it. So if you have like one heavy boss or a hectic boss that's you have to beat in a round, she's actually great for just casting a tornado right next to the boss and just freaking rapid fire the shit into that, and you will actually melt your enemy or your boss like stagger and HP. I think it's even slightly better than Miss Marvel's spin with the shooting at it. But it like lasts, as long as the tornado lasts. So you kind of have to aim the tornado, make sure you're shooting directly at it, and just hope for the best, because you're also standing in one still place and you can't move or adjust the tornado. Or it's also hard to aim the tornado, but that's why she's on this list, because she can whack out heavy damage. She's one of the only heroes who has a rapid fire ability who can pull this kind of damage off, in my opinion. In seventh place, I've placed one of the new heroes, Doctor Doom, because, dude, he's really cool. He has like that Doombot ability where you can synergize with all of your other three abilities, and the laser beam thing is maddening, dude. He can melt enemies, dude. He can melt them quicker than I think most heroes can in the game, which is great, but his only holdbacks is that it's really annoying because you have to like cast the damn Doombot, and then you gotta aim, and then something knocks you or bumps you, and then your character gets kind of like sideswiped and like knocked over, and you kind of get like really pushed around in this game. Like, you get interrupted quite a lot, even with ISO 8s that disrupt or like prevent massive like interruption. But you still get like knocked around a lot. But it is a great hero to play, especially if you're far away from battle and you just want to like throw out there. He also has a really good rapid fire ability which shoots a volley over and over, which is great to synergize with some heroes, and you can actually pull out some hectic damage with that. So it's also great for clearing out crowds. But honestly, if you want to use Doctor Doom, your best bet is to put down a Doombot and shoot the laser beam and just hope for the best. His extreme attack is also quite alright as well for like a nice targeted AoE in front of him, which is decent, but most heroes are like that with their extreme attacks anyway. In sixth place, I've placed Mr. Fantastic. As you can see why, he has a spinning ability, which obviously gets you into the top 10 tier in my books, because it's just an ability that is just overpowered. Mr. Fantastic has this ability where he can aim a lot further than Miss Marvel, but the problem is that he drains energy a little bit quicker, and he's not as strong. He doesn't actually output as much damage as Miss Marvel does. So Mr. Fantastic has this ability to spin. He can move around, hits a large AoE. He also has a nice kind of jump attack down, like little boom, boom, boom ability, which is, it's okay. It's not really an ability. It's just his heavy attack or his bouncing attack. If he's jumping attack, I don't even know what to call it. It's just a weird attack, okay? His extreme attack's alright. But other than his spinning ability, I don't really think he has too much going for him. His bottom ability does hectic damage, but it's very slow, and it does like a whirl and then like a smack, which does a lot of damage, but it's very hard, inconsistent, and too slow to kind of do often. Like, it's just not a fun ability to do often, which holds him back. So he basically ends up only doing the spin ability. Yeah, he's limited to that. But that does get him in sixth place, which, don't get me wrong, he is still strong. Very strong. In fifth place, we have Wolverine. Now, a lot of you are probably like, why is he not in the top 3 or something like that? Now, the reason why I've decided to put him in the middle of this list is because he's held back by something where he actually needs a very specific team composition. He's one of the few heroes in the game who can get a massive boost, like to what team composition and team bonus. Like right now, the team that he's on here gives him a 19% strength increase, or gives everyone in the team 19% strength increase, which is really high, and 8% vitality. That is 27% team bonus, dude. That is immense. And that puts him on this list here because he's got one of the fastest attacks in the game. He can literally run around the field like Black Panther and just destroy. He has a really good ability that does a lot of damage to health and some stagger, but mainly health, which makes him really good. It's his kind of like uppercut ability. It's his top ability on my screen here, where he kind of just does this like jab uppercut. If you use that with a synergy on this team, he just kind of like melts enemies. You can even put Magneto on this team, or even Phoenix, to like replace anyone who's X-Men really, and he will just get a massive boost in that kind of regard. He also has ability where he can kind of like slash in front of him and have someone who can shoot a rapid fire, for example, Deadpool on this team here, and he can kind of like ricochet the bullets off there as like the Miss Marvel or Mr. Fantastic kind of trick there. But ultimately, he's just a very fast hero. He has very high sustain, means he can stay alive for quite long. He has like automatic generation of healing, like he just heals like by himself, which is pretty cool. Makes him very reliable. But in endgame kind of content, you want to go for like massive damage. And he doesn't really pop out massive damage as like the top 4 heroes that are right above him in this list. In fourth place, I've placed Miss Marvel. I know a lot of you guys were saying, like, but you said Mr. Fantastic was better than Miss Marvel, like in a previous video. I did, but one thing I mentioned was that Mr. Fantastic has a higher range. Like, he hits a lot of people in a larger range. The thing with Miss Marvel is she packs a punch. She has the spinning thing as well. The synergy basically does the same damage. But the thing Miss Marvel has that Mr. Fantastic doesn't have is her combo attack punching ability, which is one of the strongest abilities in the game. It is a ability where you stand still and you punch in front of you. You can even synergize it. It is insane how much power that thing can pop out. If you have a boss that's staggered in front of you, you literally just bring out that ability. If you can pop off a synergy with like Wasp or someone, you are going to melt that boss in seconds. It is one of the highest damaging things I've seen in this game. Just her sweet combo attack and her spinning ability. Her having those two abilities puts her on fourth place on this list. There's not much more I can say about her. Her heavy attack with the dodge or block button hold in, where can she spam her heavy attack, is also quite good for deleting stagger bars. But honestly, you're going to want to pump her full of just, abilities and make sure she has enough energy to keep casting them, because she'll run out of energy quite quickly. So having Phoenix on the team with someone like Mr. Fantastic or Miss Marvel is a really good option to consider. Speaking about Phoenix, we have our third place hero here, which is Phoenix. Now, Phoenix isn't all that strong. She's not a hero that can really melt like a whole boss team or any enemy team by herself. She is definitely a support hero. But the funny thing is, she finds herself quite high up on the list for most players. You'll see her almost on like every gauntlet kind of like high level thing because of her EP regeneration ability. She puts down a circle on the ground like a big pool of like fiery kind of acid. I don't even know what you want to call it. And that kind of generates energy for all of the heroes, which is insane. So when she's out of energy or one of your friendly teammates are out of energy, she puts that thing on the ground and she can basically regenerate energy for the whole team. Like even while they're casting abilities, they will still have energy to spend. It's basically like not having an energy bar. When you have Phoenix on your team, you don't have an energy bar. You can go nuts. Do whatever you want. If you feel like she's not casting it often enough, you just swap to her, cast the ability, swap back to your other hero. This is what I've done in like the Ultimate Gauntlet, the level 271, is literally just keep her ability on the ground and your whole team is golden to go with attack synergy, attacks, everything you can think of. Ms. Marvel's permanent spinning, anything, dude. It's all possible with Phoenix, which makes her really, really overpowered for that reason. And in second place, we have a member who has always been on my team since the very beginning of this game. I have never opted to use anyone else but Star-Lord because of his insaneness. Dude, a lot of people don't realize how overpowered Star-Lord is. I mean, I've been saying this since, like, I've been playing this game. I'm like, dude, Star-Lord is just, like, every time I swap Star-Lord out for a new hero, like, throughout my whole playthrough, I just keep coming back to him because I'm like, no hero has this. No hero has an ability like Amped Up. Amped Up is one of the most overpowered abilities in the entire game. And if you buff it with like shock damage and stuff, now Amped Up is his ability where he shoots out lightning in all different directions. And this can kill basic enemies like almost in one shot for like the most part. Like on mine it kills them in one shot because I've got like ISO 8 that's just boosting the shit out of him. But it also brings down the stagger bar immensely on most enemies as well, which is it's just fantastic because he can hit so many enemies at once. So if you take him into a place where there's lots of enemies, he won't even worry about melting them, and he doesn't even use that much energy. If you have someone like Phoenix on his team, he's just going to be okay. He's going to be alright. And if you're using his auto attacks, which can actually deal a lot of damage to enemies who are staggered anyway, you can kind of just hold the block ability, use your light attack until you like finish the little combo, and then cast another amped up, and you can infinitely kind of do that method because every time he does his combo of light attacks, he'll always have a amped up ability to use right after that. Another interesting thing he has is that he actually has ability to buff all three elements: fire, electricity, and ice. And his most strongest ability is his tornado with shock enhancement. So kind of cost tornado, use amped up, make it electricity tornado, and if you have any other team member on your team with like a rapid fire ability and shoot into that, you'll destroy, dude. Like that shock tornado is insane on its own, but what puts him on second place in my book is that amped up ability because he can do extreme AoE for bosses or even just trash like the normal regular mobs and monsters. He treats them like they don't even exist. Like if you look at this Rush Rift here, we basically just got almost like 300 kills, and I've been to 300 plus kills with Star-Lord before doing this damn Rush Rift. You probably already know who's in first place because I haven't mentioned him in the video anywhere else, and you know I would have because he's on this list in number 1. That is Thanos Infinite. The Thanos, the second Thanos wearing the Infinite Gauntlet, the one that you can't put ISO 8s on. He is insane. When I first played him, I was like, I don't know how to play this damn hero. Like he's not great. Like I don't really use his laser ability, and I don't use his kind of like spike ability that much. Like I hardly use his laser ability at all. But what I do use is his heavy attack, which is crazy insane because he can teleport and just murder enemies. But what makes him really strong is his charge. You put him up with someone who has like energy regeneration like Phoenix, or even just put down his pool that he has, because he has his own catered energy pool that if you hold it long enough, it will actually generate health for him as well. He can just constantly have energy and just use charge through everything, and he will just destroy stagger bars. He'll destroy health bars, just like two charges through most enemies, and they're just like staggered. And then once they're staggered, you just basically hold the block button, use your heavy attack, and just teleport towards the boss, and just like mash that freaking X button, dude, until the boss like his health will just go down, dude. I find the best way to play him is to not charge any of his abilities. Only if you really like have a chance to charge them, go for it. But you're gonna get more benefit out of it by just spamming like charge. Ironically, his like charge ability where he actually charges, but don't charge it. If you know, if you know what I mean. And he'll just destroy, dude. He'll just melt through everything. Like you won't ever struggle having him on your team. He's also very very tanky. So playing him, you'll hardly ever have a member of your team die because he's on your team if you have things going wrong. And a nice thing he has is that when you use his ultimate attack, he can literally stun enemies, like pause their freaking stun stagger bar from like unstaggering them, and it will just like he's just overpowered, dude. Like that puts him at number one. He's the cheesiest hero in the game. Just I mean, it's kind of like you get it for beating the game. So like there's kind of just like a thank you for playing. Here's the strongest hero in the game. Clap clap. So yeah, those are my top 10 heroes in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3: The Black Order, with all 3 DLC packs out. What do you guys think? Who else would you put on this list in your opinion? Who do you think deserves a top 10 spot? Let me know in the comments below. Discuss this list that I just given you, and if I gave you some hero options to play, you're welcome. I'll see you guys in a future Marvel video. Thanks for watching, dudes.